He launched his company, his current company, back in Mobilewalla back in 2013, 2014, raised $4 million in venture capital, did $1 million in revenue. 2015 went up to $4 million in revenue. But this is really just solving a cash flow problem. He was doing this just on media spend. In 2016, they stopped with the media spending, which gave them leverage with big data partners, and started focusing more on a SaaS-based kind of data play, which they did $750,000 in 2016. They're now growing that and ideally doing in 2017 about $5.1 million in projected revenue. But if we just look at the data stream, revenue stream, they're growing almost 20x year over year from 12K last June to almost 250, or last May to 172K this May. They'll do in June about 250K just on that segment.
This is The Top, where I interview entrepreneurs who are number one or number two in their industry in terms of revenue or customer base. You'll learn how much revenue they're making, what their marketing funnel looks like, and how many customers they have.
I'm now at $20,000 per top.
5 and 6 million. He is hell-bent on global domination. We just broke our 100,000 units sold mark.
And I'm your host, Nathan Latka. This is episode 766. Coming up tomorrow morning, we learn from Nick Candido, and with 10 million raised, I asked them, will you be the system of record for every chief operating officer? Well, they're well on their way. Tune in to find out how many customers they have. Good morning, everybody. My guest today is Anindya Datta. He's the CEO and chairman of a company called Mobilewalla, a mobile consumer audience platform company. Before this company, before Mobilewalla, he founded a company called Chutney Technologies, where he was backed by Kleiner Perkins and eventually acquired by Cisco Systems. He's been on the faculties of Georgia Tech, the University of Arizona, and the National University of Singapore. He obtained his undergraduate degree many, many years ago, and his MS and PhD degrees from the University of Maryland, College Park. Anindya, are you ready to take us to the top?
Absolutely.
Okay, very good. So kick us off. Tell us what Mobilewalla does and what's your revenue model? How do you make money?
So Mobilewalla is a mobile consumer audience platform. So, if you're familiar with, or for folks that are familiar with digital audiences, things like what Oracle Bluekai and Datalogix and these companies do. So Mobilewalla collects a whole bunch of data on how consumers behave on mobile, and then processes the data to produce artifacts that is useful to mobile marketers. In particular, we have two products. One is mobile audience, which is if you are a large CPG company and you want to market a diaper to expectant mothers in their third trimester.
This is Procter & Gamble, right?
Like Procter & Gamble with Pampers, you'd come to Mobilewalla and say that, hey, I want to target expectant mothers in their third trimesters, and we're going to tell you, hey, these are the mobile IDs of such mothers. That's one. And the second product we sell is we collect such large amounts of raw data on mobile behavior. Large companies like, Axiom and Oracle, they just buy raw mobile data from us. Like, for instance, what locations do I see people at? What IP addresses do I see people connected to? What telecom carriers are people using for their mobile? Things like that.
So so a few questions here. So it sounds like people are paying you, kind of pay as you go. They say, we want this kind of data export, you export it, they pay you one time, then they come back a year later, do it again?
Not quite. So for audience, when Procter & Gamble or Unilever or Samsung buys audience from us, they say, okay, we want to target mothers of young children or people who use the Galaxy S8 phone. And we tell them, okay, here are 10 million IDs. You use them and you pay us one time. That's one time.
Okay.
But when people buy raw data from us, right? So when a large company will come and tell us that we want to know every month all the locations that you see people at, we tell them, okay, we're going to give it to you as a subscription, sign up for 12 months. And pay us $25,000 a month.
Okay, and I don't want to talk about both of these at the same time because they're very different business models, but generally speaking, is there one that's clearly larger for you, the pay-as-you-go versus the SaaS model?
Right now, the SaaS model is larger.
Okay.
If you were to take our June revenues, SaaS was 65%, audience was 35%. But I expect that even in December this year, audience is going to eclipse DaaS, the SaaS product.
And why do you say that? Don't you want to build the recurring stream?
We do, Nathan. Great question. we are actually we're trying to modify our audience pricing also as a recurring stream, right?
I see.
So right now, companies come and say that we'll buy this audience segment from you and pay you one time. And we're telling them, no, I mean, if you're using us a lot, so why don't you pay us $50,000 a month, and we'll give you every segment you want, and you can use it as many times as you want. So
I see.
To convert that to SaaS as well.
So it's kind of decoupling from the model of saying, hey, we're going to give you 10 million Galaxy Note data points for, I'm making it, what's that sell for? $100,000, $1 million, something like that?
It sells for each time you touch one of the people that we sell you. You pay us, a fraction of a cent.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it's almost kind of like a model that some of these companies that charge for like per API call.
Exactly.
I see. Okay, that helps to understand that side of the equation. Now everyone's wondering, I can feel them through their earbuds going, Nathan, ask them this question. Where do you get this data from?
So we get this data from a whole bunch of sources, Nathan. So we have, we look at exchange. We look at data coming from the ad ecosystem in mobile. So, for instance, there are large exchanges that allow us to look at bid requests or ad requests that go through their platforms. In return for data we provide them. So that's a huge source of our data. So that does,
just to be clear, that does not add to your or that doesn't cut into your gross margin. That's not a cost of goods sold for you. You're trading pro bono. You're giving them something, you're getting something.
All barter. Yes. So we give them back valuable information, and they in turn let us look at their bid stream to be able to create audiences. Number two, as our audience customers increase, right? So we have DSPs, we have ad networks that are using our data. What we have them do in order to be able to profile their users, we require them to put a little Mobilewalla pixel in every ad creative they serve, right? So when you are consuming New York Times content on your iPad and an ad gets served to you, if that ad has a Mobilewalla pixel in it, we get some data back. So those are the two major ways.
And does that include things like location data or like accelerometer data? Like is the phone shaking? Are they driving because the speed's fast? Stuff like that?
Not accelerometer now, Nathan, but it definitely includes location data.
Got it.
But even from location, we can judge speed, right? So if I see you, so when you're reading New York Times in your Uber,
two data points over time.
That's right. Right. Or 10 data points over time.
Now, people might be thinking, well, Nathan, that sounds like a great strategy, but of course, Anindya can barter. He's huge. Of course, he has something to give them, but how did he start? How did you get your first data deal when you had nothing to offer?
We went and begged, when we had nothing to offer, we went and begged exchanges to say that, look, this is what we can provide you. Why don't you let us listen to you? And while we are not at the point where we can give you back good data, we will buy this information from you.
Got it. So you started kind of with just, we'll buy it, and eventually drove that cost down by saying, hey, we have enough data now where you should trade us.
Absolutely. So if you look at Mobilewalla revenues for his first year and a half, we were like buying media, right?
Like how much? Do you mind me asking?
How much what?
How much media buy? Yeah.
2014 was our first sort of revenue year, right?
Okay.
And we did about $1 million of revenue.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And that's only media buying, okay? In 2015...
sorry, just to be clear, 1 million of media buys went through you, or your cut of the revenue from the media buy was 1 million?
Our cut of the revenue from the media buy was 1 million.
Got it.
The amount of cost that we paid out was, I should have looked these numbers up, some fraction of that 1 million, right?
Yep.
I mean, maybe 60% of that 1 million.
Okay. Right? And what was 2015?
2015 was also all media buys, and we were building our data platform. In 2015, we did about $4 million.
And just to be clear, you call this your audience platform, right?
Yes, we call this our audience platform. But remember, in 2014 and 2015, we were generating no data revenues at all.
Yep.
We were simply buying media. In order to make my investors happy, I just didn't want to be spending money.
Yep.
So I said, can I make some revenue out of the media we are buying? So we had some very we went and convinced some people saying that, look, we are building this data platform underneath. We can add a lot of value to this media we are buying. So people bought some media from us.
So 2015, you're still pure play. One just media buying 4 million, and then what happened in 2016?
2016, in June, we stopped media buying almost completely, right?
Okay.
Now, in 2016, our revenue, but we bought a lot of media. Our media buying was growing. And in 2016, we did something very interesting, Nathan, which I don't know how much I can elaborate on. We played a key role in the U.S. presidential election.
Okay.
And we generated a bunch of revenue out of that. So
how much?
Our 2016 revenues were also $4 million, a little over $4 million. But $750,000 was from data, and about 3.25 was from media.
Okay, so let me just break this down, make sure I get it completely straight. 2014, 1 million in revenue, all media. 2015, 4 million in revenue, all media. 2016, you stopped media buying in June. So prior to that June date, you did about 3.25 million in media. And then after June, you focused exclusively on the data side and you generated $750,000 worth of revenue.
Correct, but imagine from a pure, if you just look at revenue, there's a huge drop in revenue that we had simply because we were selling data.
You mean going from 2015 4 million to 2016 staying flat?
Yes, and also the second half of 2016, we didn't generate any. If you look at two halves, right?
Yep.
So we generated a lot of revenues in the first half of 2016. But in the second half of 2016, our revenues dropped.
Yep. What will you do this year, you think, total revenue? What's your goal?
So we are projecting 5.1 all data.
Okay.
Right? So it's a very significant increase in data revenues.
But that's your only revenue stream, right? No media?
That is only. So I would be lying to you because we have a couple of clients like Dell, but like media is like 10 grand a month. So
it's minimal.
It's minimal. And the 5.1 I told you is all data.
Yep.
We'll probably generate an additional maybe $500,000 worth of media.
Professional service, media, stuff like that.
That's right.
Okay. And now I want to ask more about what role you played in you said the special election or the presidential election?
No, the presidential election.
I mean, can you elaborate at all there?
All right. I cannot give you details because we are under, but I'll tell you that we were a very key data arm for one of the major parties.
I'm not going to get you to tell me which party am I.
No, but I'll tell you some of the interesting stuff we did. For instance, we created segments on evangelical Christians.
Wow.
Very hard to do. But
based off what? What does an evangelical Christian's mobile data look like?
So it's very interesting, Nathan. So I don't know if you know this. Christianity has like 290 denominations.
Wow.
I don't know if you knew that. So I didn't know that either, right? Like 17 of which I believe are evangelical, like the Lutherans and Episcopalians.
Are you looking at though? Like, are they at the church on Sunday morning?
So the definition we were given was take a swing state like Florida, right? And there are like 1,400 evangelical churches. So to be an evangelical Christian, you need to have been observed in an evangelical church at least once a week for the past 6 months.
Wow, that's very cool. Okay, I won't make you tell me what party you worked with, but I'll ask a different question. Were you on the winning side or the losing side?
I will not answer that either. I will not answer. But let me tell you,
because maybe your product didn't work, and then that's why they lost.
I'm very tempted to answer that, but if I do that,
it's my job to tempt you.
Yeah. So, but I can tell you the client was, whether the loss or the won, the client was very happy.
That's good. That's very good. Okay, I want to get more of the backstory here. So 2014 was your first year with revenue. Was that also your first year at all? That's when you launched?
No, we raised our first round of venture. The company really became a real company in 2013 when we raised our round of venture funding.
How much was that for?
For $4 million.
And how much have you raised to date?
So we have not raised a Series B, but I have raised a bunch of money from our existing investors.
Yep. Which
is lying on the company's books as a loan, but that will convert when we raise another round of funding, which I would think would be later on this year.
So just to be clear, back in 2013, you did a $4 million convertible note?
Correct. No, we did a $4 million equity funding.
And then you raised a note on top of that.
And I raised notes on top of that.
A convertible note, not venture debt.
Convertible notes.
Okay,
yes.
Got it. So let me ask you a question. I mean, I imagine as you're trying to you're trying to have to convince investors, hey, listen, we're pivoting from buying media to a data play. You're not going to see triple revenue growth year over year because of that. And they're like breathing down your back going, why are you flat between 2015 and 2016? How do you get them off your back? How do you convince them of the long-term vision at a board meeting?
So this is a fantastic question, this is the main reason why I have not raised money yet, right? Because the question comes to every investor will ask, hey, why are you flat, right? And yes, you can sort of try to talk through it. Okay, look at my data revenues, look at the media revenues. But I just felt that our current investors are so happy with our growth. And they see. So they have been very supportive and sort of, I went and told them that, look, I want to go raise money when we have had like 4 or 5 quarters of data revenues to show growth, right?
Yep.
And they have been quite happy. But now, Nathan, I mean, you talk about numbers, but think of it like this. Our first month of always on data revenues were in May of 2016. That's when we had like audience revenues, real audience revenues.
Yep.
We had small SaaS. And we did $12,000.
Great.
In the month of June this year, which is 13 months from then, we just hit $250,000 in data revenues.
So what is that in terms of year-over-year growth?
So 20x growth in 13 months.
Sorry, 12K to what?
250K.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so just to be clear, last May you did 12,000 in data revenue. This past May you did 250 grand.
This June, in this current month.
This current month in June.
Yeah, we'll do, in May, we did 172,000. In June, we'll be doing 250,000.
That's great. Okay, so that's where you kind of get, okay, good. So that's an amazing growth rate. You just have to take out the media spend because the media spend was a cash play early on, right? To buy you runway and get data relationships.
Absolutely.
Okay, so take me through some of the other stuff now. So how many customers are paying you for the data? Only talk to me about the data play stuff.
So that's also an interesting. Let me put it this way. So on the SaaS side, on the people who have subscription accounts with us, so we have 9 customers who have subscription accounts, right? And they pay anywhere between $8,500 a month to $41,000 a month.
Okay, got it.
On the audience side, Nathan, it's pretty interesting, right? So our biggest chunk of audience revenues comes from Oracle. Right.
Yep.
So we are one of the biggest contributors to the Oracle Blue Sky marketplace, which is the largest digital data marketplace in the world.
Is Oracle included in that 9 number, the 9 customer number?
Yes, Oracle is also a SaaS customer, but in audience, we have a separate revenue line from Oracle in audience. And basically the way what Oracle sends us at the end of every month, and this is true for all our distribution partners, is a spreadsheet saying these are the segments that were sold, right? I swear to you, so it's hard for me to tell you who our audience customers are. In the last month, so we are doing, 20, in audience we are doing what? In June we'll do very close to $100,000.
Okay, June, right? So I can add the audience of 100K plus 250 in data. You're doing about 350 grand a month.
No, 150K in SaaS plus 100K in audience. That's
I see. 250 total.
Okay. So in the 100K in audience, we have over 250 different organizations buying from us.
Got it. Okay, but it's hard to predict because they'll buy 1 month and then wait 7 months to do it again, or.
That is correct, but there are organizations like so we are a very big WPP partner, right?
Got it.
People like Unilever, people like Procter and Gamble, so we see month on month buying from them and this going up. But yes, there are definitely small clients that will come buy $20 worth of data 1 month and we will never see them again.
On the SaaS side of the business, what's your gross churn per month? I mean, I assume it's almost nothing or negative net, right?
We have only had, in our lifetime, we have had 2 customers who have started and then gone away.
Okay. Got it. I mean, but just to be clear, you've only really been doing the data kind of SaaS play for a little over 12 months, right?
Yes, and the first 5 months of that was one SaaS customer.
Okay.
So since we really had clients since September of last year.
Okay. And what do you pay to acquire? I mean, those are big customers. I imagine you can spend a lot to acquire one of them. What do you spend on average to acquire a customer?
So we should be more. So I can give you a facile answer here, Nathan. I won't.
Sure.
And I cannot tell you accurately, right? In terms that I cannot give you an exact number. I can give you a sense of.
Give me a sense.
Yes. So we have two sellers. The company is very small. We have two sellers, one in New York and one in Singapore. Okay. One of our key value propositions, Nathan, is that we are pretty much the only source of mobile audience data outside of the US. Okay.
Okay. So
we have one seller in Singapore, one seller in New York, and I kind of shuttle back. And so I'm the CEO, but I also sell with them. So in terms of, and we have no marketing. We have no marketing.
And how what's your total team size?
38.
Okay, so 3 of you are focused on sales.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we have some account managers and such, right? That are not actually, that are doing sort of farming. But 3 of us are focused on sort of actually acquiring new clients. So you can think of the costs and the average sales cycle for a SaaS client has been about 45 days.
Yep. Wow, that's pretty fast. I mean, these people are paying you like 20 grand per month on average.
Yeah. So you imagine in its 7 months into our whole thing, we have like 9. We've generated 11 clients and we have lost 2.
Yeah, got it. Okay, and then what about? I mean, are you doing things like paid media spend, like sponsoring conferences, things like that?
0.
Okay, no. So
0.
all the money you've raised and whatever, and all your profits and revenue, you're reinvesting. Really, your biggest expense is people. There's no variable paid marketing spend.
There's no variable. There's 0 variable paid marketing spend.
Okay, got it.
We've not done a penny of SEO. We don't have even a hired PR firm that is doing anything. So 0 spend outside of it. And we have done things like we tweet out and I put on LinkedIn and so on and so forth. If you leave that aside, no paid marketing.
Got it. And then where's most of the team based? What location?
So the company is headquartered in New York.
Okay.
Right? And our U.S. team is split between New York and Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
In Atlanta, because I have a long-standing relationship with Atlanta, right? I'm in Georgia Tech. So our U.S. engineering is based in Atlanta. So our U.S. team size right now is about 10.
Yep.
We have a team in Singapore. Our Singapore team size is about 12. And the rest of the people are based in India, in Calcutta, India. And in India, we have a very cool team. Most U.S. companies, including my companies, if you say India, they think of engineers, right?
Yeah.
So we have no engineers in India. In India, what we have is what we call our data corpus team.
Okay.
So for instance, we do things like, so a segment that is bought a lot from us are Walmart visitors, right? So we map points of interest.
Wait, what do you mean Walmart visitors?
People who go to Walmart.
What do you mean they buy from you? I thought companies bought from you.
Yes, so companies buy the Walmart visitor segment. Right?
Oh,
so
I see.
We track who goes to Walmart, right?
Is Amazon a buyer?
Amazon is not a buyer. I cannot tell you that. You might find Amazon has bought a segment from Oracle, but Amazon is not a client yet. Right?
Got it.
We have a team that is, let's say, mapping out every point of interest in every country where we are. For instance, one of our biggest selling segments is B2B segments in Oracle, like Fortune 500 companies and who work at Fortune 500 companies. So you can imagine the work involved in figuring out every Boeing office in every part of the U.S.
Yep.
So the India team does sort of this whole manual data acquisition work that drives a lot of the audience computations we do.
Last question before we wrap up. It's election related. Can you tell on election day, I'm curious here. It's like 3 p.m. The polls are going to close in 3 hours. Can you tell based off your pixel which, let's say I think I'm going to win most evangelical kind of Christian voters. And can I actually see and send a text to people who have not location-wise been to a voting booth to remind them to go vote?
I'm very impressed with you with this question, Nathan. But let me tell you, the biggest amount of money we generated in the election was for what is known as get out the vote, the GOTV part of the election, right? So what we did for this particular party, who spent way less on feet on the street than the other party, we were monitoring every polling booth, every polling location in a certain number of states. And we were telling the ground team who showed up to vote and who hadn't yet.
So your data is, just to be clear, your data, it is that tight. It is real time.
Okay. So in general, our data is not real time, but for the election, we did this real time work.
That's impressive.
And that made a very significant difference in a very large state.
Many of you listening right now don't have time to listen to every B2B SaaS CEO that I've interviewed. If you want to get access to the database I've created with year-over-year growth rates, customer counts, margins, and many, many other data metrics and data points, you can go to getlatka.com. Here's the thing, though. That database, I keep it to myself. It's so freaking valuable. And to preserve the quality of the data and make sure that the people that have access to it have a true advantage, I'm only letting 10 companies on each month. So we're full this month, but you can go to getlatka.com to get on the waiting list for next month. And look, there's big people on the waiting list. I mean, the biggest VCs you've ever heard of. You've probably heard of them. They're big, private equity, billions and billions under management. So it's an impressive waiting list. Go get on now at getlatka.com. Guys, I get asked all the time, Nathan, you host all these interviews, hundreds of them per month. How do you do them efficiently? And guys, the answer is simple. People always agree to my calendar, back-to-back meetings. I batch my interviews to stay very efficient. And the way that I do it is I use a tool called Acuity Scheduling at nathanlatka.com/schedule. And the reason I use them is very simple. They keep my no-show rate very low because they send out reminders about when the interview or the meeting is coming up. And also, they make it very easy to schedule time, right? I don't have to go back and forth via email 10,000 times with people I'm trying to meet with. Okay, at nathanlatka.com/schedule. It helps me so much. And by the way, look, I have so many meetings. I'm the best at meetings. Okay, I do them back to back, very, very efficient. You guys know me. Many people say I'm the most efficient they've ever seen. Okay, so I use the tool. It's so efficient. And by the way, I got Gavin. I said, Gavin, he's the CEO. I said, I want a great deal for my people. He said, Nathan, well, most people get a 14-day trial. Isn't that great? I said, no. He's given us a 45-day free trial at nathanlatka.com/schedule. That's not going to stay up forever, so go get it now. nathanlatka.com/schedule. Very interesting. Okay, let's wrap up Anindya with the famous 5 number 1. What's your favorite business book?
Ooh, new thing.
New thing?
Michael Lewis.
What's it called?
The new thing.
The new thing. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
So I study a lot of CEOs. So I thought about this question. I'll tell you, one person who's not a CEO in the traditional sense that I'm a huge fan of. Have you heard of Jose Mourinho?
No.
So he's a legendary football coach. He's now he used to be the coach of Manchester United. He has been the coach of Real Madrid. And I'm a huge fan of Jose Mourinho. You should look him up. He's incredible. He's got a track record of taking teams at their weak points and making them champions. He has a very startup mentality of being very tactical.
Yep.
He advocates playing tactical football at the expense of beautiful. So I'm a huge fan of Jose Mourinho. I'm also a big fan of Steve Kerr, by the way.
Yeah.
So.
Number 3, is there a favorite online tool you have, like Acuity Scheduling?
Email.
Who do you use? Like Gmail?
I use Outlook and Gmail.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
5.5.
Yeah. Okay. And what's your situation? Married, single? Do you have kids?
Married, one daughter.
One daughter. Okay. And in India, how old are you?
I'm 52.
Okay. Last question. Take us back 32 years. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Drink less.
Were you a big drinker?
I went to this. Yes, I was not the model young man when I was. I wish the only thing about I wish I had studied harder when I was 20 years old.
Yeah. Very good. Guys, there you have it from Anindya. He would have drank less and studied harder, traded the books or traded the beer cans for more books, right? He launched his current company, back in Mobilewalla back in 2013. 2014 raised $4 million in venture capital, did $1 million in revenue. 2015 went up to $4 million in revenue. But this is really just solving a cash flow problem. He was doing this just on media spend. In 2016, they stopped with the media spending, which gave them leverage with big data partners, and started focusing more on a SaaS-based kind of data play, which they did $750,000 in 2016. They're now growing that and ideally doing in 2017 about $5.1 million in projected revenue. But if we just look at the data stream, revenue stream, they're growing almost 20x year over year, from 12K last June to almost 250, or last May to 172K this May. They'll do in June about 250K just on that segment. A team of 38 based all throughout the world, but headquartered in New York City, again, helping anyone, mainly B2B folks, but sometimes, as we discussed in Election Group, getting accurate data about mobile customers. Maybe the biggest, maybe the best. Anindya, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thanks a lot, Nathan.
If you enjoyed Anindya today, go back and listen to Cameron yesterday. He's a coach, and I asked him, Cameron, how can you charge $80,000 per year for one consulting gig? Go listen to find out.